Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. How you doing, Kenzie?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Hurley?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Pumped up for this session.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one. She did a great job with her promo videos.
Oh, they were fire, and her ability to do something that I think a lot of people have. It's very difficult to create connection, to create
Yeah.
community, grow it, to sustain it. So I'm really pumped up to learn a lot in this session. So,
Yeah,
hey,
really.
Sierra, how y'all doing? Cool, let me see. Okay. All right, get a couple more people in here. Should probably be hopping in pretty soon. Kenzie, if you want to put in the chat outside of, or one, are you a part of this community? But if you're not, are you a part of a community? What communities are you guys a part of?
That's a great idea because, I mean, we're all focused on community here. So it's like, what communities are out there that people are loving other than ours, which they should all love ours.
And Kristen's. What up, girl? How you doing? You're muted.
Oh, muted.
Sorry, I was in another room. I don't know. I thought it was this room, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I was 5 minutes early.
Now, most important thing is that we got you here now. Nice. All right. So today we are going to be going deep into what you've built and how you've built it. What advice can you give everybody in regards to building, sustaining, what needs to be implemented? Everybody, this is the type of session that feel free to jump in, have conversation, chime in, ask any questions that you may have, and then we'll rock and roll. We'll probably get started in like a minute or two, let everything start to warm up, and then go from there. Kristen, while I have you, where are you located at?
I'm in Gilbert, Arizona.
Arizona. All right.
Yeah, most people think of Scottsdale or Phoenix. I'm about 25, 30 minutes from there.
That was my next question. It was like, all right, cool. How far from there? My brother lives out in Surprise.
Oh, that's far.
Arizona. Yeah, so he's a little bit of a journey. Whenever I'm out there for a mastermind, I swing by on that side. Have you your real estate career? Have you always? Is that where you've majority of the time lived and worked?
And my life, yes.
Yeah, whole life. All right, cool. Kenzie says, yes, I'm a part of the real estate collective, but I also do a lot of local communities too. Cool. Randy, thank you for joining us. Bob, how you doing? If you guys want to, Bob, Randy, are either one of you guys, does anybody on the call have their own community or thinking about creating their own community?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I signed up, if I could say it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So do you currently have your community?
No, you know what? I'm a little bit older in age and almost retirement, and I'm creating a community around downsizers or retirees. I've already done kind of a series of videos and gone through and had over 3,000 people watch all 6 of them in their entirety. So I know there's an interest there. It's just like, what do I do with it to convert? So I'm always looking at different ideas, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
I love that. And then today, let's lean in on that. Any questions that you have, leave it in chat or just jump in, right? Let's make this very interactive. That way you can get the most out of it. Cool. What about you, Bob? Or Sophia, feel free. Devin.
I just thought of the movie What About Bob when you said that. Remember?
when it rolled off, I was like, oh, there it goes. All right, cool. Just in case we go deep, I'm going to pretty much go ahead and start off with a little bit of housekeeping. Cool?
I'll watch the chat.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Collective. If this is your first session, glad you found us. And if you've been with us before, good to have you back. A few quick notes on how this works. Drop your questions in the chat. Mrs. Early is going to be taking care of all your questions. She's going to go ahead. She'll pin them. We'll answer them. Let's make this a conversation, right? And then number two, we're going to have a Q&A section, but do not wait for the Q&A session. If you have a question, especially, we're all real estate, things happen, your phone, fires that we have to put out, jump in there, chime in. Let's make this very collaborative. Today's guest, let's talk about her. Today's guest is Kristen. She's the founder of Hello Culture, and it's a community movement that is now in 39 cities plus Canada. Correct? Not missing anything? All right, cool. Kristen spent 10 years in the real estate industry, built Moms in Real Estate from scratch. All the guys were always like, yo, what's that? Like, we want to know more. And then she has brought into that community and everything that she's done and has helped her build her network. Let me know if the numbers are off. 65, 400, or is it a different number?
69 personally sponsored, and I should hit 400 today or tomorrow.
Let's go. All right. Total beast in what she's building and collaborating in community and giving. That's 400 people who she's having an impact on. The reason I want to bring her in today, or we want to bring her, most of us in this industry, just like he just said, most of us in this industry were taught to prospect, cold call, and build silos. Kristen took the opposite road and built a business through peers, through relationships, and consistent rooms. Today, she's going to walk us through exactly how she did it and how you can in your market. With that being said, Kristen, let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
All right. So, Kristen, let's start here. Most of us have been to, some form of network event or BNI style group at some point. What is the pain point that drove you to build Hello Culture in the first place?
Yeah, I love this moment because it was like such a strong moment for me to make sure that it never happened if I was to create a room. But I was actually at a real estate event. There was tons of people there. It was at a local, like our local board called We Serve here. And it was networking, drinks, appetizers, and we were just walking around and getting to know everybody. And I just remember when I left there, I was in the parking lot and I just thought to myself, like, I felt like I had a dollar sign over my head the entire time. And when I would start engaging in conversations, it's almost like people's eyes would like gloss over. Like they realize like this isn't going to go like turn into money for me. That is what they thought. And they would just be uninterested in the conversation. And so I just remember in that moment being like, if I ever create a room, I never want someone to feel like that. And it is like in everything I do, I never want someone to feel like that. And so I have taken that into everything that I've created and really want people to feel a part of something.
Yeah, I can relate. I can definitely resonate with me. See, I've bought things out of pity. I've been to the conventions. I've been to like, hey, just you could feel that person needs you to buy that one thing. And we're in sales, so sometimes we connect to that. But that feeling is true and it carries. And a lot of people, people can feel when they're being sold to.
Yes.
And sales is a transfer of feelings. I always tell people. So like when I'm training the agents and working with them, like if you ask that question and you make them feel nervous, how do you think they're going to feel? Right? How do you think during that buyer's consultation or that listing consultation that you're having that you're going to invoke that same emotion? So building a community about the way you want it to feel is super important. So when you said you built something different, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, so I started small. I'll tell you right now with community building, always keep that in your mind. Someone said once to me that everything big starts small, and it just gave me like this, oh yeah, like it's okay if I do an event and, 2 people show up to it. Like that's part of the process. And so really just understanding that piece is huge. And one other thing I wanted to just notate, like based on what we were just talking about, Jeff, is something that could also stick with you that will help you so much in business and in life is to be interested, not interesting when you go to these rooms. And just like genuinely be interested in the people that you're talking to. Your turn comes. But I think that having that like as a core belief for me, it allows me to connect with people. It allows me to hear about them, about their needs, and how I can show up and best serve them.
And from everybody that I know that's part of your communities, that's what makes your community stand out.
Yeah.
Right? They feel felt, they feel heard, they feel a part of something. Elena's been talking about your community since I've known Elena, right? So the value of it, it's like, hey, I'm not a mom, let me get in there. But like these are the different things that that we're able to really make an impact on. When it comes down to before we get into how you built one, let's talk about why so many people try and fail. So you've coached people through this. What do you see go wrong when someone is starting to create their community?
Yeah, if I had to boil it down to like the 3 most common things I see when people want to start a community and they're not successful with it. First is they don't have the grit to embrace the suck. And so I think that if you can just realize that when you start, like I was just saying, and 2 people show up and you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this again, that's not the right thing. You got to be like, I love these 2 people that showed up and that was a success for me. And I'm going to go again and again and again until I get to the number that I want, however many people you're wanting in that room. But I always say embrace the suck. Like it's part of the process. You can't just be like, oh, I want to build a community and I want it to look like Kristen's and you're starting today and I'm 6 years in, right? So just always know everything big starts small, like I said. And then part of the process is having barely anyone show up or no one show up. So I think that if you know that and you have the grit to move forward after feeling like a failure in those moments, that is going to help you a ton. Second is that I hear people be like, it's taking away from my business. And a community should never take away from your business. All it should do is enhance your business, because as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to answer, how am I meeting new people on a regular basis? And once I meet them, how am I staying relevant to them? And when you have a community, you constantly have something to invite people to. So you're new people and people that are in your ecosystem. So it literally should always enhance it because you're providing value through creating rooms. So if you all of a sudden feel like, oh, this is like something I'm doing on the side, that's not what this should be. And so
That's awesome.
the other thing, think about it.
Yeah, like
mom right there.
I can relate to that so much.
I think that's amazing right there. Just kind of what you said about how it's like you should never look at it as taking away from your business. You're creating the room. This should be something that is fueling everything, and everything surrounds it as this energy you're creating. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know what it is in real estate? We're so like, oh, we have to door knock, cold call, farm, whatever. So if you need to look at like when you're doing something different, like I do podcasting for prospecting, it's different. All of a sudden, like it's hard for you to realize it's a prospecting pillar. And so the way that I try to coach my agents when they're building these communities is like, literally just look at it like farming a neighborhood. It's basically the same thing, you guys. Like if you're doing an event in your neighborhood, it shouldn't be taking away from your business. It should be enhancing it. So just like helping them with that little shift has been really helpful. And the other thing is it's like failure to start, right? So I know, Randy, you want to start a community, you have this idea. And is it just an idea that you never actually launch, right? And so I think that the failure to start is like the who would come. We all ask ourselves that question. Who would even come? Like, and that's scary. And so I think that being able to be around and surrounded by the right people and being in an ecosystem like this is great, because if you say it out loud, then hopefully people are like, hey, did you start that community, Randy? And then you'll be like, okay. So just the never even starting would be the third thing I would say.
That's big. I could that resonates so much. So with REC, we've the agents on our team, we have 200 people on our team. Our agents are going into our sessions and building based off of every single one of these. I would see 20, 30 people on a session. I didn't know, I wasn't looking at the overall impact. So I asked them, like, what are you guys doing differently? And they're like, yeah, I went and got this session. They're calling people out. They're calling you guys out that are coming on here. And they're like following, and I'm like seeing them engage. It's providing value to, my community that we built within Power Real Estate Group. Right. Mm-hmm. So this is, I'm seeing exactly what you said. And it does suck. Like as a team leader, even creating a community, I've been driving out to our Riverside office, and when I got there was 2 agents that would show up to role play.
Yep.
And I just kept showing up to role plays and trainings. And then 3, 4, 5, those 2 started popping open in escrows. Next thing you know, there's 15, 20 people in Riverside, asking. They were still there. They just weren't engaging. But because they saw that consistency and change was coming in, that changed. And it helped that team leader see what I was trying to get them to do. And I think a lot of it deals with mindset. What is the mindset shift that has to happen before or during, or how can you talk about mindset shift when it comes to this?
Yeah, I would say, like, aside from what I've already said, one of the biggest mindset shifts that I wish I would have known when I started doing this is that when you're building a community, the best, most sticky communities are not about you at all. And so really knowing that it's about everybody else. And so when you build like that, literally, I had the coolest moment the other day. I actually wrote about it in my newsletter this week because I was so excited. I had an event last week and somebody was brand new, walked in, and it's a content day. So you've got like 50 women making content. We're all going wild, and it's fun. But it's intimidating if you've never been there. And she told me, she's like, this girl with short, dark hair, curly, walks up to me and, introduces herself. She makes me do a reel with her, and she starts telling me about this girl. And she's like, I thought that she owned Hello Culture. I was like, that's Sarah. Like, I love that Sarah just basically, like, I told her, I'm like, you like acted like you had ownership because you love the community so much. And so that's because it isn't about me. It's about them. I literally just left an event. I had an event on accident scheduled before this, had a bunch of girls in a room. We were doing a networking event. Everybody was broken out into pods, and I had to leave 30 minutes early so I could come be on this call. My community doesn't care. It's not about me. No one misses me. I can go. Like, I know that, like, it's so great when I'm like, I am not like the end all be all. And so I feel like I try to do that in everything I build because I don't want to be the only person. I want to be able to dip out if I have to dip out and call on other people. One of the things too is, like, a lot of times people have such great skills, such great, like, they lead so well, but they don't have the people to do that with. And so what a blessing if you are a people person and you build community to be able to lift them up to lead. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I would say that's like something that when it comes to like mindset that I would point out.
I love that. Man, it sounds simple. It sounds, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think we're going to the same place with it. Actually, isn't it freeing to create? I mean, aren't you so proud of that you created this thing that can work without you? Like, you're not the linchpin in everything. Like, it still runs without you. You created such a great room, such a great community that it still runs without you. I mean, that's kind of what we're all hoping for, is to create this thing. And I think that mind shift from kind of that thought process from you is, it doesn't matter if I'm not in the room because it's not about me. I think that's incredibly freeing. I think that's amazing.
It's so freeing. Is that what that book's about?
On the emotional side, but it also ties me back to the book, Good to Great. Right. Mm-hmm. And in that talks about good businesses and great businesses. Mm-hmm. And if you look at your community as a business, a good business operates with you. A great business, you can sit back and like, all right, cool. That is something that if I foster and grow it correctly, it can last long after I'm no longer here. Right. Yeah. So this is where we're starting to see. And, like you mentioned, it didn't start like this, correct?
No, I didn't. It's not like I thought about that. If I would have loved to think about that in the beginning, but like, really, I feel like when I started realizing, like, when I, burn out and I started being introduced to what actual leverage looks like, everything just changed. And really, like, for me, I'm at Real Broker. I think all of you guys are too. Same thing, right? Like, we're bringing people into the brokerage, and the brokerage is the value proposition. We're just the cherry on top. So talk about leverage there, right? And then in Moms in Real Estate, like, a lot of people don't even know who I am because I literally push up all the other women in the community, and like, they're what it's all about. I could leave tomorrow and that thing would still be running. It'd run great. So I just wish I would have realize that earlier. So if you're thinking about building a community, having that at the forefront would just be so powerful.
I can dig it. I love it. I think that segues to my next question.
Okay.
So if someone is listening right now and they haven't built a community yet, what is step one?
Step one. Okay. So everything I say, I feel like is so basic, you guys, but I love basic. I love keeping it simple, but
Keep it simple. We need it.
keep it simple. Okay. Zoom out, like really just zoom out and be like, why am I doing this? Like, why do you want to build a community? And it could be, maybe you're lonely. Maybe you want to do it as a prospecting, like maybe you want to make an impact, like, but really identify like, why are you doing this? And what do you want it to look like? And then what do you want it to look like, you know, in the next 6 months, year, 3 years? Like really just dream big, because if you can think in the future, it's just going to help you with the pillars that you put down today. And ask yourself, what can you commit to consistently? Because one of the most important things when you're building a community is having consistency in it. And so that could be like, you know, every third Thursday, you guys do whatever it is that you do on every third Thursday. But what is it that you can commit to no matter what? And then I would just say, like, zoom out, brain dump everything before you build it. And then ask yourself, a super important question is, do I need to ask anybody else to be a part of this to make it happen? Because you don't have to build alone. I built alone a lot of times.
How did that turn out?
Huh?
How does it feel when you build alone?
What's crazy is I was building community, so I was around everybody and I was like connected to them, but I was so lonely because I was leading alone. And so when I brought somebody else in, I was like, I saw other people that I was coaching start to bring in other people, and I'm like, wait, like I'm doing this alone. That looks like a lot more fun. And then you find like the person that really complements you, and you guys, we build in such a different way, like so much stronger than I could have ever done on my own.
I love that. So now that we have that, we understand what the preparation looks like. Now let's talk about building the actual thing. What does the implementation part look like? We talked about 3 buckets. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. And again, I want to say before I go into my buckets is everything big starts small. So if you're starting a community today, like this is just something to think about. You might not like need all the things that I'm gonna unload on you right now. But I would say the framework consists of 3 things, which is your operational roles, your systems and your tools, and your communication. So for operational roles, it's really identifying like who, when you say who do you need, it could also be hiring somebody. So for in my community, so I have a local community of 50 members, and we have a director of client experience. So she's very much at all the events, talking to everybody. She plans the events now. So we have our system, and she makes sure that she's booking everything. She gets the invites out, all of the back end stuff. And then we have a process manager too. So, and then I have a person that leads it with me. So we've identified where each of us shows up, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and then we've kind of just built what our roles are in the community. Same thing with Moms in Real Estate. And then tools and systems. We use a lot of tools and systems, and in the beginning, it can just be a spreadsheet, honestly, and Eventbrite or something. But what we use is we use something called Shine Pages for our ClickFunnels pages. And it does ClickFunnels. It does our email marketing. It does, what's it called? Like checkout. So anytime somebody goes on our
Shine
website,
as in SHINE?
Yep. Shine Pages.
Okay.
So you can have websites, ClickFunnels, squeeze pages. Literally it does everything. And then our checkouts. So all of the things to be able to buy tickets, when they buy them, having like workflows where they're able to get emails before and after events. And then we use, I'm like drawing a blank right now. Sorry. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on what we use, but
we use Stripe. How do you use for payment
it's
process?
integrated into Shine Pages.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
That sounds like a tool.
Other systems like our girls use, like if they're already using what's the StanStore I used to use, because all of us have StanStore. You're in real estate, you should have it in your Instagram profile. So it's an easy thing because everyone already has it. Canva is essential for us because we have to have duplicatable templates for each event. And so that's been huge. You can also do a free one-page website showcasing your events using Canva, which is great. But yeah, those are some of the systems that we use.
When it comes to, one of the things that a question came to my mind, but I muted myself. When did you know it was time to start to bring in others? What triggered that? Like, I think a lot of time we tend to hold on too long. Like, when did that happen for you?
Yeah, it happened a couple years in. I think it's always scary because you're like, can I afford to do this? And so somebody said a long time ago to me, like, sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. And so really, like, for me, I was like, can I take a step back financially to be able to take a step forward and get rid of some of the stuff that's weighing me down? And I've never thought like I'm the only person that can do this so great. So that part wasn't hard for me because I'm like, I suck at this. If I could bring somebody else in to do it, that would be great. So I would say probably a couple years into building my community was when I brought on my first person.
How big was your community by then?
I would say probably 20-ish people.
So you didn't have to wait till you had hundreds of people lining up before you started to bring somebody in.
No.
Okay.
And if you guys monetize your community, which I highly recommend doing, I did a free community. I was taught to do, free value proposition. I was at EXP before, so I was like, why would people join me? And so I came up with this like free community, and I will tell you, it is so much work to do for free. And so when you're able, and you get a different type of person too in your community when they're paid. And so, when you're bringing in money and you're starting to you have members and you have vendor partners, and, as you're starting to grow, you've got to bring somebody else on. So we did probably at about 20 people.
All right, cool. And how do you talk about where you're at right now?
Well,
how many people are?
Yeah, let me real quick talk about the communication, because this part is one of the things I will.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, because I do feel like this has been a struggle. Like for, I was a recruiter for a brokerage for years, and I remember this being the biggest struggle there. And I hear it from, agents, their buyers and sellers say communication. So this is like really important to me. So we have, when we're hosting events, we make sure we have a website, and then we have a Google Calendar that has all of our events. And then we have, before somebody ever enters the room, I always think before, during, and after an event. So before anyone enters the room, are they prepared to know what they're walking into? Do we have who, what, when, and where in emails? And you guys actually do a really great job with the preparation to getting here. I will tell you, that was like next level. But I love a calendar. I love a calendar invite answering who, what, when, where, and why. Because then it's like, it's all there. It's on their calendar. And I think that most of us as entrepreneurs live by our Google Calendar. But then the email marketing is where it gets fun, is because before they ever walk in the room, they feel your vibe. They know what they should wear. They're already prepped. If there's any vendor partners, you can highlight them in that. And then your job during the event is to connect with people. That is your number one job, is just to make sure connection is happening. And the vibe and the energy is good. And then afterwards, what does the communication look like? And so we do that through email marketing too, like recapping the event, pulling something fun that happened out. If there's any vendor partners where they had, something really cool that they're offering our community, we'll throw it in there. And then also, like, if you are doing a paid community, like, what's the platform that you're using for communicating all this stuff? We use Shine Pages that, look, I just told you guys about, also as a community option, just like School would, just like what you guys probably have built REC in. But think through, what would our communication platform look like so that you can post all the things that you need to post in there. And then we also, I feel like this was this back and forth. Do I get Telegram? Do I get Voxer? And for me, I live on Instagram. And so I was like, I'm doing a pinned Instagram post with our group. All 50 members are in there. And it's been so nice because we're not on a bunch of other things. And so it's just an Instagram. So we are communicating in there all week throughout the week. And it's been really fun for us to connect on a deeper level and keep them updated on what's coming and what, any offers that we have.
I keep coming back to, you make it sound so simple.
It is.
Like, you make it sound so simple. All right. Well, for an agent who's listening right now who thinks, you know what, I'm one person show. What's the minimum viable version of this? If you should say, hey, without doing a deep dive into what you're going to be doing, what are a few things that they can get started and what's the frequency of what they should do?
Yeah, so I would say like my favorite basic thing to use where I could literally run anything is a Google spreadsheet. So I really feel like you could run a whole community just using a Google spreadsheet, and then just start with one event. And if it's, even if it's like one event that you do a year, do it every year. If it's one event that you do every quarter, do it every quarter. If it's every month, every month. If it's every week, you have to be consistent with it. So that's going back to, minimum. If you're like, it's this weekly or it's this monthly event that I'm doing, then I would show up to that monthly event.
Show up to it, be consistent, market it, keep it simple, keep the communication in one page, in one place, so that people aren't running around from it. Talk about the who, what, where, when, how, and why this is going to occur. Talk about the journey before, during, and after, and map that all out. Is that a good recap of where we're at so far?
Yeah, I think one thing that I haven't talked about that's so important is you cannot just post it on Instagram and think people are going to show up, or Facebook. When you're building a community, you have to personally reach out to people. So always remember, the reach out is where the gold is. Doesn't really matter if they come or not. This is your opportunity to be in conversations with people, which you need to be in conversations with people all week, every week. And so this is the invite tool. So when you have an event, remember the power behind the invite, and make sure that is part of the process.
I love that. Making sure you're connecting with them. Just like I always say, are you posting or are you marketing? Right? Are you getting in front of people? Are you having a conversation with people? And that's what gets them there. All right. I could dig it. From our brainstorm conversation, we talked about your 4 pillars, right? And we talked about 4 things that you're doing that are really making a difference in your business and in your community. One was content, caffeine, workshop, long, slow dinners. Talk to me about those things.
Yeah. So specifically with Hello Culture, we have a cadence where we do monthly content creation days. Those are our staples. Everyone wants to come to those. And they are where we hire a professional photographer, professional videographer, and then we prep them on the trending audio reels that we do while we're there. And so it's a networking event where we get social and have fun and also get a ton of content together. We do an implementation day because I noticed people were coming to content days and they were getting content and then they weren't posting. And so I was like, what's happening, girls? So implementation day, we get a really cute space. We put on music and we usually will go over one specific thing for 15, 20 minutes, but then we have the full 2 hours to actually like execute. And then we have a monthly workshop. That's the one that I just left. And then we do long, slow dinners every quarter. These are amazing if you guys are wanting to build a community. And really, one of the things that I've found over the last year is if you have a big community, people are wanting more intimate conversations. So what we brought in was called long, slow dinners. It's for 12 women. Every quarter, we rent out a space. We charge them for it. So like this next one's at this really cool spot in Tempe. $200 to come. It includes a drink, dinner, and then we curate the conversation. So they're able to each get time to speak and get personal. They've been so good. I can't even tell you how great those are. And then we also do quarterly outings. So we either hike or paddleboard are pretty much our 2 really consistent things because we love paddleboarding down the Salt River. And then when it's cold out, we like to hike all around Arizona. So we like to not always just do business, but also be like, we're moving our bodies together and doing something that has nothing to do with business.
That's super dope. That is super dope.
When kind of thing.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Just like an overall well-being kind of thing. You work together, you sweat together, you are active together. Neat.
Yeah, well, it's important in this specific community of mine. Like, it's important. Like, I've always created rooms that I wanted to be in, so they're kind of selfish, right? So I needed content 6 years ago. And I was like, how's everyone getting those cute photos and of themselves? Are they having like how awkward for their friends to take them? And so me and 2 other agents just started doing them and they grew into what they are today. But it was a personal need, or I had a money mindset problem years ago. And I did a whole year of creating rooms around money mindset and finding the most amazing women to come pour into my communities. And so, yeah, it's just really fun. So really identifying your community pillars is a good exercise too.
I have a question.
How do you make sure you don't have too many pillars? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had a question about the monthly content that you do. That seems to be a really popular one.
Very popular.
Can you tell me about how many people show up for that event?
Yeah, so we have about 50. We have to cap it every time too. So we're actually bringing on another photographer. That's been our conversation lately. Because they are just so like they're busy. And so
High demand. Wow.
Yeah, and our photographers are so good too. So we have a whole process. Like that event, literally I can like hand it over to you and you'd be like, okay, I know exactly what to do if I'm doing this. So every event is like that. To where if somebody was like, I want to do a content day, they know everything they need to do in order to execute one.
Wow.
Because it's a lot. Like you have to manage 50 women getting their professional photos, videos, deliverables, filming.
I can only imagine.
But it started with 3 people.
That would be such a fun event to go to. I mean, how many of us out here, we have 15 people on the line right now. How many people out there are like, I know that's a good idea. I know I should do it, but I don't want to do it by myself. Yeah. I'm sure someone's gonna raise a hand or something that, because I know I'm like that. I know I should do this, but it's like, oh, if I did it with someone else, it's like going to an exercise class. Like I should exercise, but if I go to a class with somebody else, I'm more likely actually to do it. This is really an interesting idea of making it an everybody thing. I think it's so inclusive and amazing.
Well, we use a tagline that like social media is meant to be social, but we make it this like solo thing and it sucks. Like it actually sucks. So it's not as bad as you start to do it and you have friends to do it with and like, but otherwise like it's coming up with the concepts and, you know, finding a photographer. If you were to go get a photographer and do a personal branding shoot, it's pretty expensive. You know, it's anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500.
Couple thousand.
Yeah, we do it every month. So their content is like next level too. It looks great.
Yeah. I like everything you're talking about is what I talk about when people say they want to run a team. Mm-hmm. Because in our office, like what day is today? Today's Wednesday. In our Whittier office, Arturo, who's our videographer and photographer and everything, he's there going over, it's the beginning of the month, so I can tell you right now, they're recording city updates, market updates, like all the things we're asking them to do. They're so much more comfortable when they walk in there, look at a teleprompter and be like, all right, this is what's going on in Irvine, California, right? And they're so pumped up. And we've been doing it for like 3 or 4 months now. What we're starting to see is them now getting comfortable taking out their own phones.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And doing it. It's like, hey, how do I get a teleprompter? You can just get Big Voo on your phone and put the script right in there. How do I prompt?
It's in edits now.
And now it's in edits. Like it's right there. But it's just getting them to do it. And now they're becoming, like I always say, I tell the agents, I wish you believed in you as much as I believe in you. Because these things, they start to grow from that. And then they start to, it's the little activities that start to move. We are 38 minutes in. Let's talk about the part most people never get to, right? Because first you have to start. You have to go in there, right?
Yeah.
You have 50 members locally and a bigger national footprint. How do you scale without becoming the person who has to be at every single event? You're a mom, you have a life, you have all these things going on. What happens? What do I do in that situation?
I go back to not making it about you, right? So, and then having the right, like, I know my sister, for example, works for me and she could literally go to any event and everyone would be so excited to see her and she would execute it amazing. Or my partner, Lisa, could do the same thing. So when I'm scaling, I have to try to remove myself and be able to replicate myself with people who have the same core values, the same vibe. And so, that takes time to find those people. But really, when you create a community like this, the right people that you want to be around, they come to you, right? So even my community members, even for Moms in Real Estate, we have a referral mastermind next Thursday, and we just got invited to this amazing opportunity, me and Randy. So we're going to be gone. And I'm like, who can lead this referral mastermind? And I have a list of like 8 people off the top of my head, easy, that could run that. And I'm like, heck yeah, she'll probably do a better job than me. So again, it's like your connections and who shares the same values and will show up and do just as good of a job as you, if not better.
I can dig it. This is so warm and perfect. It's like, all right, cool. Like, just go. And I think that's where, if you could say, what's the hardest part about this thing of yours, this thing that you've been working on for the last 6+ years? What's difficult now?
I would say for me, it's not at all like one specific community. It's doing as many communities as I do. I definitely think that I'm a Manny Jen. If anyone does personality tests, I love a lot of things and I have flashy object syndrome. So really like remembering, like this year I had to tell myself, like, my word is amplify. I'm taking on nothing new and I'm amplifying just the pillars that I have. And so my struggle is just that. It's like trying to do all the things when I'm like, no, I have really good things, just pour into these things. So I think we can all relate to that in the sense that sometimes you might get bored in one of your pillars. If you have multiple income streams, you gravitate towards one more, and then all of a sudden the other one starts to slip. So I think it's just when you have a lot, just remembering like where to put your focus.
I could dig it. Anything on your side, Hurley?
Let's see. I've been putting in some of the amazing quotes on here from Kristen, and they're so awesome. I've taken a couple of notes. We don't have any current questions, but one I thought that was really interesting for you that kind of popped out for me was the making sure that when you create a room, when you create an event, that people understand what to expect because they're much more likely to join in. And I think that is really key when, like I always say, 99% of my problems come from not setting the right expectation. Setting the right expectation allows those people to have that freedom to be part of the community and to be part of that event and to be really excited. So I think that was really cool. And the fact that you said you have to do the follow-up afterwards. And I think that's where a lot of people, and I'll throw myself under the bus, a lot of people stop. It's like, I did the really cool event. It's like, oh, follow-up. Yeah, I was supposed to do that. So I think that pairing that is just such a great way to create this atmosphere where people understand what's going on. They feel really welcomed. They're going to have a great time. And then you're going to touch them afterwards too.
Yeah. There's so many times where I've dropped the ball, like you're saying, where it's like, I did this amazing thing and then like, I didn't even think through it. And so it's such a fail. So I'm like, I'm very like, okay, if I'm doing an event, I got to make sure that like afterwards I have some kind of plan in place. Because people, once they're in community with you, they want to support you. They want to buy from you, whatever it is, like they do. But we have to tell them how to do that.
That makes
That's the
perfect
truth.
sense.
That's the truth. Expectations and communication.
I do have a question from Andrea. She said, are all the events in person? Not everyone in the same area?
So my local group, Hello Culture Gilbert, is all in person. And then my nationwide group is for Moms in Real Estate. We're all virtual. We are starting to do pop-up events where, again, I don't have to be at them. I'm just finding girls that I love and trust that are a big part of our community to lead them. And then we're just bringing people there. But yeah, we do. It's hard for me to do a lot of virtual stuff. I love being in person with people, but we definitely, our Moms in Real Estate is way more virtual.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
That makes sense.
Question for you. If you were to restart, what would you do? I don't want to say the word differently, or change, but what would your steps be? What would you do?
Well, I would, like I told you guys, I would zoom out. I was just doing, and I was a doer. So I just worked so hard without thinking about what I was building. And thankfully I ended up building some stuff, but I feel like I could have gotten there a lot faster had I had known like what my vision was. So if I could go back in time, oh my gosh, I would ask myself all those questions that I told you guys. Like, just really think about why you're doing it and like the big picture in a couple years, what you want this to look like.
Yeah, when we were talking, you mentioned something that really stood out to me about those questions, right? It was, and I wrote them down. It was, what am I committed to? What are people a part of? What's my value proposition? And what are my core values? How important has that been into your business? And how do you use that in your community?
Yeah, my core values are literally the best thing ever, you guys. I feel like I've heard people talk about their mission statement and their core values forever. And I was like, I need to do these. So I just sat down and I just brainstormed them. And the biggest one for me is collaboration over competition. And that's because of that room where I was in it with, you know, a bunch of real estate agents and just felt like nobody was listening. And I just was like, and I've seen it in real estate for so long where people are just like, they have this scarcity mindset. And I was coached to have a scarcity mindset years ago. So for me, it was just like making sure that I showed up true in what I said I was, who I was going to be. And then I would start to attract people to my community that I wanted to be around. And then on a national level too, for, you know, my real broker, like I just got told a little bit ago, I'm one of the top people for bringing people into the company right now. Top 32 out of 35,000. And all of them have reached out to me. And it's because I speak to like my core values and people are attracted to that. I really think it's like I'm around people that have the same beliefs as me, where it's just, it's cool. Like, I'm like, I don't work. I told my friend the other day, I'm like, I don't work in any of my communities with anyone that drains me. And at a time, you guys, there was a time where my phone would ring and I'd be like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to answer it. Like, so-and-so is calling me and they're so annoying. They have this victim mentality. And now I'm like, I love it. If somebody calls me and if anyone's complaining about something that's stupid, I'll tell them like, dude, you're complaining, because we have this community where we're able to do that. So I think that when you're really like firm in who you want to be around and your beliefs, like it just really like helps with who shows up in your world.
That's deep.
Amazing.
That's super deep. That's super deep. What if one of the things that we have written out is your community has now left your state, but you were talking about bringing in people, and you used a number like, hey, 15 peers or so. What if I live in a small market where I can't find, or like, how do I begin attracting people to my community or bringing people into my community? What should be something that we can do in that side?
So what could you do if you're like brand new to your community and you're trying to grow so I'll give you an example. There was a girl yesterday on our attraction call that wanted to do Real Cafe and somewhere in Washington. And she's like, which if you guys don't know what Real Cafe, it's all over the United States. Anyone can do it. But it's basically a consistent meetup for real agents in your local market. And she's like, I don't know anybody. Like, how do I do this? I'm like, easy. I started Real Cafe and obviously I'm born and raised in Arizona, so it's a little bit easier. But if I was to start in a new market, I'd go to Instagram and I'd start finding agents and I would start messaging them and I would just say, hey, I love your profile. Like, I feel like I know a lot of people in our area and I don't know you. Like, let's go grab coffee. And that's so authentic for me to do. It doesn't feel weird. It's not like picking up and cold calling somebody. I love coffee dates and I genuinely probably like their profile and probably found some way to connect with them. So Instagram outreach is really great for me. Specifically, if you're doing a Real Cafe too, if you go to, I think it's onereal.com, you can search agents in your area to reach out to ask to be a part of it. But that, and then I used to post on Facebook and be like, who are the moms in real estate that I need to know in our local market? And then everybody would give me my prospecting list. Easy. Then I would just
give it to you.
They would just give it to me. You can do that in Facebook groups. You can do that on Instagram. And then get out of your house and go talk to people. Like, my boots on the ground is my favorite way of prospecting. I can't tell you how much business comes from just me bouncing around at coffee shops, meeting up with people. Like I get referrals more when I'm out and about doing that. So get out of your house and have conversations with people. I know people say, I don't like small talk. Then don't make it small talk. Like actually have a good conversation with people, you know? So I hate when people say that. I'm like, my favorite thing to do is to run into somebody and like be able to like have a good conversation with them, you know? So reframe that, because that's definitely holding people back. But I would say definitely like go out and have conversations.
I love that, and I'm going to take that. I'm going to add that in there. I've had the times where it's like, what do I say? Or like, I know that person. I should go talk to them. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to, like. So just getting out there and getting active, and you practice. Practice is going to help that. The only way to do it is to do it.
Yeah,
We talked about a lot of starting. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was like, I think that's where you're just probably overthinking it. Just go up and be like, hey, like I haven't seen you forever. What's up? And then conversation will go.
And it will just flow from there. We talked a lot about starting and, implementation and, the who's and the what's and the value prop and connecting it to yourself. I think a lot of, how do you define success? Like how do you know if it's working?
I mean, I used to, and I do think there's a space for this still, but I used to be so numbers driven. And that is just really draining for me, if I'm being honest with how I feel. So really, I like to reflect back on, what did I do the last month? How did it feel? How did people leave? Did anyone let me know? Like, I screenshot when people write me after events. So if they had like something really positive to say, like that kind of stuff is what I'm measuring more so than, did we get two new members last week or whatever. So I feel like that just isn't fulfilling to me when I'm tracking stuff. So I'm trying to go with more of a, just reflecting on the month and pointing out the wins. And are we growing? Like, yeah, I do want to know that. And so that is, just looking at those things.
I love it. Teresa, anything do you want to chime in on before we close out?
This was just an amazing session. I know that what you do is just so incredible, and to watch it from afar is really neat, but to kind of have a snapshot of where you started, where you are, how you organize this in a way that is taking social and actually bringing it to actually be social with people, yes, I think is something that sometimes we miss in our lives. And I think this is such a proactive way to connect with agents in a way that collaborates and just raises everybody up together. So I think this is what you created is very cool. And I'm going to try to do this in a little mini universe and start something here.
Yes. You should message me on Instagram and tell me all about it.
That would be great.
Woo-hoo. You see what she just did there? You see what she just made social media social.
I did. I love it. Cause you guys, and I go back to like, you say like this mini thing, like don't downplay that. Like even starting something small is so needed. And again, everything big, start small, start there and see where it goes. But even if you can get 3-4 people together consistently, like I will tell you the most consistent thing I've seen over the last decade is how lonely people are. And I can tell you story after story after story of what it does when you actually are the one that's bringing people out of their house and into community. So even if it's small, like it's impactful.
That makes sense. We do have one more question. It's, do you have an automatic communication set up on Instagram?
I did at one point, and then I was like, I hate this. There's certain posts that I'll still put my mini chat on if I'm like, this is going to be a lot of comments. But honestly, at the end of the day, unless you're getting like hundreds and hundreds of comments, it's manageable. And for me, my whole businesses are all relationship and opportunity that like if somebody gives me, even like if I ask, I put the word in and I get an automatic message, it turns me off and I leave. I don't know. So it's just like, I produce what I consume. And if I don't consume that, I try not to produce it. So yeah, I try to personally reply.
I love that.
That's big. That's epic. That's epic.
I do have a girlfriend who runs an amazing Instagram that gets hundreds of direct messages. Like she has to have that.
She has just an engine going on.
She has an engine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If there's one last piece of advice that you can give the community, what would it be?
Mine would be don't overthink it and just get started.
I can dig it. Heard that, Randy? Let's get started.
All right, Randy, you better message me on Instagram. Tell me about this community you're starting.
We're gonna hunt you down. We're looking for you.
I'm across the border in Canada. You won't find me.
Oh,
Honestly,
man, we can
there were
get you.
so many good tidbits here. I think that everybody will leave with something to put into their pocket to start to do. I think this was really awesome. You had so many great things on here.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Before we let everybody go, two quick things. First, the conversation doesn't have to stop here. Like she said, you guys can go ahead and start and have this conversation in the discussion space. She's in there. The community's in there. The chat bot's in there. Everything's in there. Leverage the tools that are there for you to help build your community. If you're not a pro member yet, the plan most people pick is the quarterly at 117. But because you're here, you're going to get a discount down to $97 for your first quarter. This community is built for you by agents that are working, grinding just like you. Hope this was helpful. REC out. See you guys later. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.